Stop.
Don't we not gonna even go there? I stopped a major thing for Beyonce. Didn't even get a thank you.
But now everybody's
why is everybody calling me now? Because I'm a firefighter. I'm gonna tell them while Johnny puts a beep over this part of the show, so you'll never know what it is, but I want you to see their reactions, and I'm going to do it right now.
We're older. She's married. I'm a single gal. She's got her career, I've got mine. We still love each other and we're still sisters.
Something went down in Hollywood that even the Bayhive wasn't ready for. 1 minute, it was a regular live stream. Laughs, gossip, side eyes. And the next, every jaw in the room hit the floor. Jason Lee, the man who's built a career on knowing too much, suddenly went quiet. He leaned forward, stared into the camera, and said he'd stopped something major from happening to Beyoncé. Whatever it was big enough to make his co-hosts freeze mid-smile.
Beyoncé's new album, have you heard it yet? Have you had an opportunity to give some thoughts on the whole thing?
I sure have. It's great. It's absolutely great.
Really different though, right?
Yes, really different.
But
getting back to what I'm here to talk about, Claritin, I'm very excited to be teaming up with Claritin.
Then came a strange sound edit, a sudden beep over part of the segment. No one outside that studio heard what he actually said, but the faces around him told the story. Shock, panic, disbelief. Within hours, the clip flooded timelines. Everyone was asking the same thing. What did Jason stop, and why was Beyoncé's name in his mouth? Jason has a track record that keeps the industry nervous. When he drops hints, headlines follow. He's predicted divorces, exposed secret relationships, and somehow always knows the tea before TMZ does. So when he starts circling Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Kelly Rowland, people don't scroll past. They listen. This time, the way he teased it, calm, almost smug, had the internet convinced he wasn't bluffing. He suggested that behind the perfect power couple image, there might be a triangle no one was supposed to see. Something about blurred lines between marriage, friendship, and loyalty. He never said the words outright, but the implication was messy enough to shake the hive itself.
But I am going to save this conversation for Jay-Z. Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know you got people calling me. Call me yourself because this right here is going to go viral.
As the video spread, fans noticed something else. Jason hinted that powerful people were calling him, trying to keep him quiet. He didn't name names, but the way he emphasized people with real reach sent chills through comment sections. The whispers grew louder. If someone's working this hard to silence him, what's he really sitting on? That's when another voice entered the story. Producer Jonathan Hay, a man who's been close to big industry names for years. In a random interview, he dropped a claim so wild it made Jason's mystery suddenly sound possible. According to Jonathan, Jay-Z's private life isn't what the public thinks. He said there are habits people inside the circle already know about, habits that make the boundaries in that marriage look very different from the fairy tale image. Once that clip hit social media, everything exploded. People started connecting dots. The distance between Beyoncé and Kelly over the last few years, the way they used to be inseparable back in the Destiny's Child era, and how suddenly that sister bond faded when Jay came fully into the picture. Old interviews resurfaced, little moments that never seemed important until now. Kelly nervously deflecting questions about Beyoncé's albums. Jay's awkward body language when Kelly stood too close. Fans slowed the footage down frame by frame, hunting for proof that something deeper had always been there. And then came the most curious detail of all. Jason Lee had spent serious money prepping to attend Beyoncé's Renaissance film premiere, custom suit, travel, content crew ready to roll, but his invite never came. He was furious, publicly furious. On his show, he blasted the situation, claiming he'd always supported her, yet got nothing back. The tone wasn't gossip, it was betrayal. That's when his so-called firefighter comment started to make sense. Maybe the major thing he stopped for Beyoncé wasn't some random event, Maybe it was something dangerous, something personal, something she didn't want out. And now that he felt iced out, he was lighting the match himself. After that, Jason's rants turned darker. He spoke like a man who'd been cut off after knowing too much. He started mentioning phone calls from top people, hinting that Jay-Z himself was behind them. Fans replayed his tone, half threat, half warning. Meanwhile, the Beyhive was in chaos. Some fans begged Jason to stop before he got himself blacklisted. Others demanded he spill everything. A few were terrified he might actually have proof. Because deep down, everyone knows this much is true. Jay-Z has skeletons. He's admitted to infidelity. He's built entire albums around guilt and confession. There's a public trail of affairs, power moves, and control issues stretching back decades. So when insiders suggest his marriage operates under unspoken arrangements, people don't laugh, they nod. It fits the pattern. Still, this story isn't just about Jay. The real shock is how it drags Kelly Rowland into the storm. For years, she's been Beyoncé's ride or die. The sister, the shadow, the only person close enough to see the cracks. But if Jason's implication is right, that closeness may have crossed a line no friendship survives.
But yes, Ray J, from what I was told from being inside at the highest level, that Jay-Z likes to watch Beyoncé with different men, such as Ray J.
That theory gained fuel when people noticed how far apart the two women seem now. Kelly hasn't been at Beyoncé's major appearances in months. No selfies, no onstage cameos, no public support posts. When asked about Beyoncé in a recent interview, Kelly smiled too tightly and pivoted to promoting her Claritin deal. It looked like someone dodging a tripwire. Even casual fans picked up the change. "They don't move like sisters anymore," one tweet read. "They move like people avoiding each other in public." And through it all, Beyoncé said nothing. No denial, no lyrical clapback, no photo op with Kelly to shut down rumors. Just silence, the kind that feels strategic, not shy. Her team knows that addressing Jason would pour gasoline on the fire, but ignoring him has its own cost. The longer the silence stretches, the more people start to believe he touched a nerve. Meanwhile, Kelly's PR team is doing quiet damage control. No comment, no interviews about Destiny's Child, just brand work and safe topics. She's giving graceful distance energy, but fans can sense the tension. And Jason? He's loving every second of it. He went live again, smirking, saying he's holding back the real tape and will only release it if certain people keep playing games. He didn't explain what that meant, but everyone understood. The comment sections went nuclear. Some called him brave, others called him reckless. A few said he was signing his own Hollywood death warrant, but Jason doesn't scare easy, not when attention is currency. At this point, what started as gossip has turned into a quiet war. One man hinting at secrets the world isn't supposed to hear. One couple guarding a billion-dollar brand. One best friend caught in the crossfire. Whether Jason's bluffing or telling the truth, he's already changed how people see Beyoncé's inner circle. And if he ever drops the footage or proof he claims to have, this story stops being rumor and becomes one of the biggest scandals in music history. A story that could shatter the image of pop culture's most untouchable empire. Because behind every perfect love story, there's always the version we weren't meant to hear.
Elevator. We don't know what that was about. Again, I don't even have free passes to the 40/40 club.
And how you spent a lot of money on all the Renaissance.
But I did that because I never ever wanted.
By the time the dust settled from Jason Lee's live stream, Hollywood's air felt different, colder, heavier, like something sacred had been disturbed. The clip had spread to every corner of the internet. Major blogs that usually worship Beyoncé were suddenly using careful language. Alleged, rumored, unverified. That alone said everything. When the machine built to protect the Queen starts using disclaimers, it means even they're scared of what might come next. Inside Parkwood's offices, phones reportedly didn't stop ringing for 48 hours straight. Publicists whispered. Attorneys reviewed NDAs that hadn't been touched in years. And while the world waited for Beyoncé's response, she did what she always does best. Nothing. Not silence out of fear, silence as strategy. Because Beyoncé knows the rules of the fame game better than anyone. Once you speak, you validate. Once you react, you confirm. And once you confirm, you lose control of the narrative. So she vanished into the shadows and let the speculation eat itself alive. But her team didn't. According to insiders, damage control went into overdrive. journalists suddenly found themselves unavailable for interviews with Jason Lee. A few smaller podcasts mysteriously deleted their clips quoting him. PR emails with polite threats started circulating. We asked that this story not be amplified. The kind of polite corporate message that still feels like a warning. Meanwhile, Jason doubled down. He posted cryptic captions talking about ungrateful millionaires and people forgetting who saved their image once upon a time. Fans didn't know what he meant, but the timing said enough. And behind all that chaos, Kelly Rowland was the one person everyone wanted to hear from. For 20 years, she's been Beyoncé's mirror. The calm to her storm, the grounded one, the voice that always said, "We're sisters first."
To ask for anything free. Because
Right.
Floyd Mayweather taught me a long time ago, don't ask nobody for nothing free because you don't want to be obligated to them. I pay for everything because I don't ever want people to say, why you say that? Don't say that. Don't. Nobody calls me and says, I say what I want to say.
But lately, that calm had cracked. Kelly's interviews started feeling tense, calculated. When asked about Beyoncé, her eyes darted off camera, the smile a little too polished. She'd say things like, "We'll always love each other," past tense disguised as present. Her fans noticed it. Her colleagues noticed it. Even the blogs noticed it. But what they didn't see was what was happening behind the scenes. Multiple sources whispered that Beyoncé's inner circle quietly reorganized. Some longtime stylists and assistants suddenly stopped working with both women. Brand partnerships that once used them together began sending separate contracts. Even Jay-Z's team allegedly requested that certain photos of him with Kelly not be recirculated for brand cohesion. Translation: something real had changed. And while Beyoncé was doing damage control with silence, Jay-Z was doing what he always does, cleaning up the mess before it touches the money. His people reportedly started calling outlets directly, making it clear that any mention of triangles or open arrangements would mean immediate blacklisting from future Roc Nation events.
We always tried to work out our differences
And communicate.
between each other, and we always tried to communicate, but we were having problems for a while now.
Most outlets complied, a few didn't. Those few saw their access quietly disappear. That's how power works in this town. You don't need to prove innocence. You just make it impossible for anyone to prove guilt. But the more they tried to shut the story down, the louder it got. TikTok detectives kept digging through old Destiny's Child footage. One video, a grainy backstage clip where Kelly leans into Beyoncé's ear and Jay glances away, started trending again. The comments were brutal. That wasn't just sister energy. Jay knew. Kelly was always the third verse in that song. Even fans who defended Beyoncé started asking quiet questions. Because when the queen refuses to speak, the hive starts whispering among itself. Inside industry circles, everyone had an opinion. One producer who's worked with the Carters said privately, "You don't survive that long at the top without learning how to control what leaks. If something this big is leaking, it's on purpose, or it's personal." And that's the part that scares people. Because Jason Lee isn't just stirring gossip for clicks. The man sounded hurt, betrayed, like someone who once got too close and got burned. He kept hinting that Beyoncé owed him a favor, something he did for her years ago, something major.
You know how like you'll kind of talk yourself out of things? Like I used to do that.
Yeah.
And now like I'll catch myself like about to do it. I'm like, no. Here we go. I've this like reposition the thought to not be glass half empty, but half full.
Fans started theorizing maybe he buried a story about Jay-Z's infidelity. Maybe he killed a photo. Maybe he stopped an even bigger scandal before it could surface. Whatever it was, he wants credit now. And maybe payback. Meanwhile, Kelly's public demeanor softened even more. She posted pictures of her kids, her projects, her workouts, everything except Beyoncé. The comments under every post turned into battle zones. "Where's your sister? Blink twice if you're not allowed to talk." She ignored them all. The emotional toll showed. She looked thinner in interviews, quieter on red carpets. Gone was the bright, carefree energy that once defined her. In its place, caution. Industry friends say she's been avoiding big events, preferring smaller private appearances. It's a classic survival tactic in celebrity warfare. Stay visible enough to prove you're fine, but quiet enough to avoid feeding the beast. But the thing about silence, it doesn't erase suspicion. It multiplies it. And the Bey Hive noticed one more thing. Beyoncé's entire social media layout shifted. Fewer candid photos, fewer family moments, more carefully staged fashion shots. It's the visual equivalent of building a wall. Every image screamed, "You can look, but you can't touch." The gossip machine kept spinning anyway. Some said Kelly broke an unspoken rule, that her closeness with Bey crossed boundaries Jay didn't like. Others said Jason was bluffing, trying to bait them into responding. But the most persistent rumor came from people close to the production side of Roc Nation events, that Jason was once given access to sensitive footage from a party years ago and was told to bury it. Now he was threatening to do the opposite. If that's true, this is no longer gossip. It's leverage. And when leverage enters the picture, nobody's safe. By week 3, the Bey Hive's attention split in two. Half defended their queen blindly. The other half, quieter but sharper, started connecting Beyoncé's new lyrics, her choice of imagery, even her business moves to this situation, as if every public appearance was code. Fans argued endlessly over whether her latest photo caption, "Energy Never Lies," was shade at Jason or at Kelly. And through it all, Jay-Z's name kept fading to the background, like he always does when things get ugly. He appeared at a few business meetings, smiled for cameras, and went home. No comments, no reactions, just that poker face that's protected him for decades. But his silence didn't look strong this time. It looked scared. Because for once, he wasn't the one holding all the cards. Behind closed doors, Hollywood started treating Jason Lee like a liability. Invitations vanished. PR teams blacklisted his show, but even that didn't stop the momentum. The public didn't care about credibility. They cared about curiosity. They wanted to know what he meant when he said he saved Beyoncé, and what she'd done that needed saving. Every day, the mystery grew. Every day, the silence got heavier. And every day, Beyoncé's perfect empire looked a little more human, fragile even. By now, insiders say Beyoncé's team has 2 plans. Plan A, stay silent until Jason burns himself out. Plan B, quietly sue if he ever names names or shows proof. Either way, it's a waiting game. The world wants answers. Beyoncé wants peace. Jason wants attention. And somewhere in between stands Kelly, the one who didn't ask for any of this but can't escape it either. And as the industry whispers get louder, one truth becomes harder to ignore. No matter how perfect a kingdom looks from the outside, it only takes one person with a microphone to shake its walls. By week 4, the whole industry was walking on eggshells. You could feel it in the air, that strange tension that hits right before something breaks. Jason Lee had stopped posting clues. He'd gone quiet, almost too quiet, which was even worse than his usual chaos. When a man like Jason goes silent, it's not peace. It's plotting. Behind closed doors, people started saying he'd been approached, not by Beyoncé's team, but by someone closer to Jay. The word was settlement. Others said warning. Either way, Jason was suddenly calmer online, but his co-hosts kept dropping cryptic hints. "He's sitting on something," one said during a live stream. "Y'all don't even know how deep it goes." And that was enough to light the match all over again. By now, every gossip outlet had turned this story into its own saga. Some said Jason was bluffing, using Beyoncé's name to stay relevant. Others believed he was the one holding the truth hostage. But no matter which side people took, the same question kept coming up. What could possibly be on that major thing he stopped for Beyoncé? Theories multiplied like wildfire. Some said it was footage from a private party. Others swore it was messages between Jay and someone he shouldn't have been texting. The most extreme fans claimed it involved Kelly directly, proof of blurred lines that would ruin reputations forever. And that's when the industry finally cracked. Reporters started saying Beyoncé had taken emergency meetings with her crisis PR team. A few A-listers close to her quietly unfollowed Jason's accounts, a soft warning that he'd gone too far. But at the same time, there were whispers that Jay-Z wasn't handling things as smoothly as usual. According to one insider, Jay confronted Jason privately, trying to de-escalate. The conversation didn't go well. The same source said Jason told him, "You don't own every story, Jay. Some of them belong to the people you hurt." Hours later, that quote, real or not, was all over Twitter. Meanwhile, Kelly Rowland had officially disappeared from public view. No events, no interviews, not even a brand post. For someone who's always been sunshine in human form, that kind of silence hit different. A stylist friend leaked that Kelly was heartbroken, not just by the rumors, but by how fast the public turned on her. She felt like she was being erased from a friendship she'd spent half her life protecting. And Beyoncé? Still silent. But her silence wasn't calm anymore. It was brittle. Every paparazzi photo showed her alone. No Jay, no entourage, just her, eyes hidden, face unreadable. The tabloids called it mysterious. Insiders called it damage control. Then came the night of the blackout. Jason Lee went live, briefly, for 2 minutes. No intro music, no co-hosts, just him sitting in the dark with his phone camera flickering. He said, "They think silence will save them, but silence only works when the truth stays buried." Then he ended the stream. No context, no explanation, just that one line. Within minutes, the clip had millions of views. People were convinced the reveal was coming, that he was finally about to drop whatever major thing he'd been hinting at since day one. But nothing came. Instead, the next morning, a post appeared on his account. Some truths don't need exposure. They need accountability. And just like that, the storm that had shaken the internet for a month started to lose steam. Not because people stopped caring, but because the players involved stopped feeding it. Jason never posted the receipts. Beyoncé never spoke. Jay-Z never blinked. And Kelly never came back to clear her name. But the silence left behind something permanent, a scar in the narrative. Now, even months later, fans look at every photo differently. Every award show, every interaction, every missing face on a red carpet becomes its own conspiracy thread. Because once a seed like that is planted, it doesn't die. It just waits. People close to Beyoncé insist that nothing Jason said was true, that it was manipulation for clicks. But others inside the industry quietly admit there's always been a strange energy between those three, something unspoken, maybe even unresolved. One producer who worked with Destiny's Child years ago put it bluntly. They loved each other like sisters, but fame turns sisterhood into strategy. Everyone has a role to play, and sometimes love blurs the lines. Maybe that's what happened here. Maybe it was never scandal, just too much closeness in a world that feeds on rumors. Or maybe Jason really did stop something powerful, and this was his way of reminding the world who still holds the keys. Whatever the truth is, it's out of reach now, locked behind money, NDAS, and fear. Still, one thing's certain. The image of perfection Beyoncé built for 2 decades now has a small, invisible crack, one the world can't unsee. And maybe that's what scares her most. Not the gossip, not the headlines, but the realization that even her silence, once her greatest weapon, might not be enough to protect her anymore. Because once people start to believe your secrets are real, it doesn't matter whether they ever see proof. The illusion is already gone. If you made it this far, you already know. This story isn't finished. The truth might never hit the internet, but it's living rent-free in Hollywood right now. So tell me what you think. Did Jason Lee bluff for clout, or did he actually expose the one secret Beyoncé's empire couldn't afford to reveal? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if you felt the tension, and don't forget to subscribe. Because when it comes to Spill Zone, the next chapter is always messier than the last.